Kong is a renowned tech hub with brilliant ideas and innovative startups, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that we offer up great solutions to some of the biggest problems we face today. In this episode of DV, we look at different ways of managing wastage in the fashion industry, as well as limiting their carbon footprint simply by speaking directly to a consumer's heart through the hottest deals in town. Working hard behind the scenes, these efforts are all for the betterment of our planet. Let's start at an R&D facility that is working on some remarkable tech to address fashion's most glaring issues. Yancy, what else can you tell us?
The fashion industry, I bet, isn't the first that comes to mind as the super user for fossil fuel. However, did you know it accounts for 10% of the global carbon emission output, which is international flights and shipment combined together. However, recently, under the global pandemic, I had a spring cleanup, and I realized that I never wore a few of my pieces of clothing, which is very common in Hong Kong. So today I'll be talking to a few people who are leading the circular solution in the fashion industry and see the efforts of how they use technology to create a greener future. So Edwin, how did you enter the Research Institute for Textiles and Apparel?
Accidentally. I was for many years in this industry as a practitioner. I ran a lot of global supply chains. And then I decided I wanted to spend some time on research, just to understand some of the principles behind what we're doing. And then the government invited me to run this research center. I wanted to understand some of the challenges for the industry. Why are we facing some of the issues? What issues our current practices or business models are creating for the environment, for the world, and how can we do it better?
And I think the demand for fast fashion has increased dramatically over the 10 years.
Yes, a lot of brands have discovered that if they sell more stuff, they make more money, right? So the volume of business for the fashion industry has spiked incredibly the last 20 years.
Like fashion cycles are so much shorter now.
Exactly.
It used to be like every quarter, now it's like every 1 month.
We tend to throw away a lot more than we used to, and we hang on to clothes a lot shorter.
And then this is where you come in.
Well, part of the mission for the research center is to look at some of the challenges. For example, circularity and sustainability. The clothes that we wear are made from materials that are actually quite durable. So whereas the fashion cycles have accelerated, we actually are throwing away a lot of very useful materials that they're quite valuable. So can we use those again? Are there other sources of fibers? In this institute, we've looked at things like food waste. We've looked at things like other types of waste materials and other agricultural waste as sources of new fibers for us to use.
And that's what you do here?
Well, this is one experiment. So this is a biological separation and breakdown recycling technology. We're trying to break down and get useful things out of waste materials using fermentations and enzymes and other biological processes. We also use chemical mechanical recycling as well as pioneering a new type of recycling called what we call the hydrothermal system.
I noticed there is some algae behind me. Can you explain a bit about this?
This is part of a group of projects that we are doing. First, we're looking at ways to treat wastewater. We are growing some algae and we're selectively developing them so that they actually use dye stuff and other waste that we produce as food. So you can see it getting clearer and better. We're also looking at saltwater-based solutions for fiber. You know, if we can grow seaweeds and things like that we can substitute for cotton, it is also, there's some opportunities there. And then water processing or wastewater treatment in general is something that we're very interested in.
Yes, because I know a factory, like a single factory dyeing a fabric, they use around 200 tons of fresh water just to dye one fabric. So that's a lot of toxic waste.
What we're trying to do is to create solutions so that we don't create those waste
in the first place.
In the first place.
But I know you do B2B. You license your technology to big brands and manufacturers.
Well, manufacturers, big brands, any stakeholder in the industry, we are not discriminating about who we work with. And in fact, in certain projects, we try to create open research platforms so that all the stakeholders can work together and come up with a solution that is beneficial to everybody. B2C, we want to create consumer awareness. For example, in our garment-to-garment shop, consumers bring old clothes in, and we break those down into yarns and fibers, and we give them a new garment made from their raw material. So it's a new business model. We're selling a service instead of a product, and it's an educational experience for consumers to see what happens. Just everything happens in that glass box.
Here what we do is we recycle garment to garment, where customer can bring in one piece of garment. We will recycle it and then need a new piece of garment for the customer.
So the customer can actually bring their garments, the old garments here.
When the customer bring in a piece of garment, we will put it into this machine for sanitization to make sure that the garment is clean and good enough for our subsequent recycling process.
Right.
This machine is for opening up the garment and breaking it into yarns and fibers. We'll try to open it into fibers. And then here we have a technology using a computer vision system on how we did in the opening process. If the opening process is not yet completed, it will send all the intermediate material back to that feeding chute, and we will do the entire opening process again. Those ones that are ready, it will be sent to the next machine. This is the carding machine, where we have a clump of fibers, and then it will be combed into a same direction, approximately aligned to each other. And they will form a slifer from here, where we will do drawing later in the next step. These are the slivers formed by that machine, where you can see all the fibers are combed in the same direction.
Yeah.
What we're doing here is to have multiple slivers from that machine and mix together into one single one, so that the whole outcome sliver is consistent. The sliver formed in the drawing machine, it will be...
it's a lot thinner now.
Yes, it will fit into this machine first. This is called a roving machine.
Oh, okay.
Where we convert the sliver into a roving. A roving is like this.
So this is the thinner one.
Yes, this is the thinner one for the spinning process later. This is called a ring spinning machine. We have 12 spindles actually, all work together to form yarns. This is a winding machine where
it becomes like threads, right?
Yes, the threads are then winded together to form a winded yarn. This machine has two functions.
Okay.
One function is to combine two yarns into a single yarn to give it more strength. Because recycled yarn usually are slightly weaker. First, we combine two yarns, so we call that doubling. And then here, we do a twisting. Okay, we will twist the yarn to increase even more strength to make it suitable for knitting. So the last step is this knitting machine. It's a 3D knitting machine where we can put in a pattern with the sweater design here, and then we will input into the machine, and it will knit it. One whole piece of finished garment will come out. Because the entire process, we design it to be waterless. So the environmental impact will be very low. The only impact involved is the electricity that needs to run all these machines.
I see. So like just as I said earlier, I mean, a client can bring their old clothes that they might have like some sentimental values to it.
There was one case where there was a girl who brought in a blanket. The blanket where, you know, the babies like to have the blanket. She has been using it.
Baby's blanket.
Yes, she has been using it for her entire life, and then it was very valuable to her, meaningful to her, so that she brought it in, and we recover the fibers for her, and then recycle it into a scarf for her. So I think this is a very interesting application for this system. The most important factor of this setup here is for educational purpose, to educate the public, letting the public know where they can take part in this sustainability push.
Where do you see the future of this technology?
We'll create many more similar versions of this system in the world. We actually already have a partner which set up a similar system in Sweden to showcase the technology behind. We also plan to push this showcase in Europe and in Asia and in America as well.
Sustainable fashion has been increasing over the years. Today's experience has been eye-opening. Not only did I learn that technology can reduce carbon footprints, but also I learned how to renew old clothes. So, next time I do my spring cleaning, I don't only have the option to donate it, but I also have the option to give it a second life.
We're back. Sticking with the fashion industry, Marcus speaks with another group offering a contrasting solution to limit wastage this sector creates.
Fashion and sustainability. These are two very different things. Fashion is addictive, exclusive, and very fast-moving. Sustainability, on the other hand, is more about slowness, care, and responsibility. It's never easy to strike a balance between the two. Like when I had my apartment refurbished a few months ago, I had to throw away 2 big boxes of clothes, and I didn't even know what my options were. The fact is, fashion is now the second biggest polluter of the planet after oil. We're literally drowning in clothes and textiles. So the question is, can fashion and sustainability ever coexist? Hi, Delphine.
Hello.
I know you've been working in the fashion industry for many years in both Europe and Hong Kong. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on sustainability?
So sustainability is a very wide topic, and it's true that fashion industry is not a very sustainable industry because there are a lot of waste and a lot of products going to the landfill. So that's why we came up with the idea of this company to really help the fashion industry to reduce the waste. We arrived in Hong Kong with Diego in 2016, and at that point I was working for a fashion brand and I was developing this brand in Asia. And then I had some stock issue. So I was looking for a solution to help me to clear this stock, but I couldn't find anyone to do that. So that's why we thought, okay, there is a possibility and there is a niche, and we should try to launch our own company to help the brand to manage this past season stock. So that's how we started. And then after that, in 2018, we launched the e-commerce platform. So now we have both the physical store and the e-commerce platform.
Now, there's so many big brands here in Hong Kong. Why do you think this type of business approach fits the bill and even make a positive impact?
Because in fact, all the brands, they have some past season stock and they need to do something with it. So they are trying to find some solutions. Recycle or upcycle are some solutions that is a bit complicated. And the technology, even though there are a lot of companies trying to develop advanced technologies, but they are not that developed. So that's why they are trying to find ways to sell as much as possible. The young customers now are much more into green and sustainable actions. So they are very interested in coming to shop with us because they are believing that they do something good for the planet.
Mm-hmm. And nowadays, everyone wants new things all the time. And we've got into this culture of like throwaway culture. It is very detrimental to our planet. What can we do?
First is to stop buying fast fashion, because when you buy fast fashion, it's a very cheap product, so you wear it for a few times and then you don't care of throwing it away. I think then reselling is something new. In fact, it's very developed in Europe, in the US. It's a bit less in Asia. People more and more tend to try to resell what they've bought and buy second-hand clothes, which is something that developed for sure the circular economy. And then us, what we try to do as well is, because after the flash sale, the inventory, in fact, as we're on a consignment basis, the brand, they come to pick up the leftover, but we work with the brand to do something with this leftover. So we do have a CSR specialist in the team that is helping us with, together with the brand, to try to give this leftover to charities sometime, or to try to see if we can recycle them, if we can upcycle, to avoid to have this leftover go to landfill.
So Diego, being a responsible business has become a very current topic. There's a lot of talk about it, but not necessarily measurable action. How is it different here?
We took the B Corp assessment, and we are really proud to have been B Corp certified. So it's a long process where you have to answer a lot of questions, and then you have audits, and it took us 9 months to proceed.
Wow. How are you guys gauging, as in whether you're making an impact, a positive impact right now?
One of the key milestones that we are measuring every year is the number of products that we save from, at the end, landfill, because as we are really the last mile of the distribution channel, last year we had more than 2 million products that has been sold and saved in that way. In addition, we can also work with different ways to reduce the waste. So there is the example of the plastic hanger recycling program. All the products that you might see here, they come with a plastic hanger before they arrive in the store. All the plastic hangers are collected by a warehouse. They will sort it out, the hook, that is the metallic part, and then all the plastic will be recycled. So it's small actions, but if you can combine everyone in this industry into that direction, it can represent really big quantities. And that's something that we are trying to always look at, because as a business, the impact is much bigger.
So Jessie, tell us about this very meaningful event you guys are doing.
Our most popular event for our members is the swap party. So they can bring back their pre-owned clothing to the showroom, and they can choose another item on the rack and they can bring back home. And also our brand partners really supportive about this event as well. They will incentivize our members by maybe with some coupons or maybe small gifts.
What's the reaction been so far?
I would say they really enjoyed it. They really feel like their pre-owned item has a new life. So really promoting the circular economy where their items are actually ended up in other person's home and being loved again.
Tell us about this workshop you're doing as well.
Yep, so previously we have done the fashion repaired workshop. The members can really bring back their broken items back, and our professional instructor will teach them how to be creative and to turn the items into a new life. So for the makeup, really since we realized after the sale we have some leftovers, we are really being very creative and to find an instructor to see actually how we can reuse the eyeshadows and to make some tie-dye items on our t-shirts.
That's very, very smart. You're not only educating them for this time, but you are benefiting them in the future as well. I can see there's so many beautiful garments and good clothes here. What do you do with them when they're unsold?
Yep, so we really encourage our brand partners to think a step further. Maybe they can consider donating the surplus items after the sale to people in need. So just in last month, we actually helped a cosmetic brand to donate more than 12,000 pieces of hair care and cosmetic products. And we have distributed to 6 charities in Hong Kong. And these are all being distributed during the 5th wave of COVID.
Oh, thank you for all the good things that you've done. So Elma, you're a fashion stylist, and I heard you like to shop here quite a bit. What is it like shopping here?
Sustainable fashion, sustainable shopping, because I can find something that is no longer available in the retail store. Before they go to landfill, we should make use of it.
Now, like what you said, now, according to the research, 3 in 5 shoppers say they actually care about sustainability. Obviously, you do care about sustainability as well. So what do you do in your normal days?
I would add, we create and we use. You have your pre-loved piece. You want to create something new. Maybe you will need a tailor to help you on that. After the tailor work, you will have a new piece at your wardrobe without adding the amount of clothing. So it's the old garment that you own, old garment that you have, but then add on your creativity, then you have a whole new piece. When I shop here, I discover a lot different brand, different category.
So it's always treasure to be found.
Yeah, it is. Because here, like what I see here usually is no longer selling in the market, or sometimes I find stock from overseas market that was not selling in Hong Kong. So it's really special. To me, it's more like a treasure hunt that inspires me to do more, like how to keep my wardrobe sustainable, how to shop more targeted, so I can make use of every single piece that I own.
I think what we wear says a lot about who we are and what we think is important in life. Like we saw just now, there's really lots of ways for us to make little changes, and accumulatively, will make a massive impact on the planet. Remember, the choice lies with you. You can consider every purchase and love your choices too. There's no time like the present to get started, so why not start now?